Thanks for tuning into the VancouverProject.net. I'm Patrick Colvin. I'll be doing our breakdown this week. I'm standing out here in front of Sexsmith Elementary School. It's Monday, June the 9th. It's the first day of the teachers' strike vote. We expect to get the results of that vote by tomorrow evening. And if the vote goes through, as we all expect it will, we'll expect to see a full-fledged strike beginning on the 16th of this month. Now, to really understand this story, we're gonna have to rewind the clock over just about a year, actually, because it was in June 2013 was actually the last time the teachers have been working under contract. Since then, there has been very unproductive negotiations that in April reached a boiling point when Jim Eicher, the president of the BCTF, who represents the teachers in these negotiations, decided to initiate stage 1 job action. What this means is that teachers were no longer able to participate in certain extracurricular activities, and they also ceased all communication with administrators. In response to that, the provincial government, led by Peter Fassbender, the Minister of Education, decided that they were going to instigate a lockout to the teachers. And again, this is just a back and forth. In response to that, the teachers decided to step it up to stage 2 action plan with rotating strikes. In response to that, the BC government decided that they were instigate a salary rollback of up to 10%. Now that rubbed teachers the wrong way, and because of that, Jim Eicher and the BCTF sent a submission to the BC Labour Relations Board to deem whether or not such a salary rollback was legal and whether or not it was breaking some of the rules. Let's tune in. This is a clip from May 29th at a press conference with Jim Eicher outside of a school in Surrey. This is right before he attended a meeting with the provincial government, the Ministry of Education, at the Labour Relations Board of BC. Check it out.
Fassbender has moved back from 10 to 6 years. You're offering to end the rollback or the wage rollback. What are you offering to concede on at the table?
Actually, if the minister was actually talking about going back on the rollback, I assume the 10%, well, they'd be going to the Labour Relations Board today and saying we're withdrawing the partial lockout, and then we would deal with it. But that's not their position so far. So Minister Fassbender can say one thing, but the actions of the employer and the government at the table, at the LRB, says something totally different. And time for government to end the chaos and confusion with the partial lockout that they created. And docking our pay 10% when teachers are in the classroom working as hard as they can to meet the needs of our students, it seems like nothing but a punitive action.
Teachers are really, really angry right now because government's not respecting 2 decisions by the BC Supreme Court. And now we found out on Monday our wages are getting deducted at 10%, even though we're doing all the work that we would normally be doing. That, along with the lockout and having to cancel field trips and extracurriculars that teachers are really passionate about, has gotten people really angry.
Sorts of opportunities, because we know that this government also needs to save face.
Yeah.
I'm being recorded.
Yes, Jim, you are being recorded. I always have my camera on. So just to touch base, that again was the morning of May the 29th, and Jim Eicher was just preparing to go to a meeting at the Labour Relations Board with the BC government, the results of which did not go in his favor. It was deemed that the government was acting within their right to roll back teachers' wages by up to 10%. Now, when those results came through on the following Tuesday, this is what Jim had to say.
To get a fair deal and better supports for students, it's time to exert the maximum pressure possible. Therefore, teachers will be asked to vote on our next stage of job action. Teachers will cast their ballots on Monday, June 9th and Tuesday, June 10th. The ballot will ask teachers to prove escalation up to and including full withdrawal of services. If approved, this would most likely mean a full-scale strike within the next 2 weeks.
So that was Jim Eicher on the 4th, letting everyone know that there would be a strike vote today on Monday the 9th. In response to that, the next day on Wednesday, June the 5th, Peter Fassbender held a press conference in Vancouver where he gave some of his thoughts on what was going down.
I'm profoundly disappointed in the announcement that came last evening about the intent to ask for a strike vote for a full walkout. We're not going to solve these issues at the picket line.
You prepared, if they don't get back embargoed, to introduce back to work legislation?
Well, you know, we've had a cycle for decades in this province of labor disruption and then legislation and then court challenges, and we really need to change that cycle. We can't keep doing this to the students, to the parents, to the teachers.
So again, that was Peter Fassbender at his press conference on Wednesday morning. Now, there is a huge divide between these two sides, but that isn't to say that there hasn't been movement. The teachers originally in their proposal wanted a 15.9% wage increase over 4 years. When you include benefit increases and things like that, we were looking at more about a 21% pay increase over 4 years. They also wanted changes to class size and class composition that the government had quoted would cost up to $2 billion per year by the 4th year. They've come down on that. They've come down to 9.75% over 4 years. At the same time, the government has made some movement as well. To begin the negotiations, they had their heart set on a 10-year deal. They've now reduced that to a 6-year deal at 7.25% for the teachers. So while there has been movement, things are still escalating. To find out what was going on, last Friday I decided to go down to Sir Winston Churchill Secondary School to talk to some teachers and find out what the atmosphere was going into today's strike vote. Check it out. Can I get you to introduce yourself?
Yeah, my name's Rory Brown. I'm the teacher in Vancouver, and I'm also right now the second vice president of the Vancouver Secondary Teachers Association. So representing 1,400 secondary teachers across the city, 18 high schools.
Now, Rory, can you just take me into the mindset, the atmosphere of the front lines, of the picket lines?
We're out here, we're unified, and we're ready to bargain. But we're hopeful, but nobody really wants to be on strike, that's for sure.
Mm-hmm. And one thing that comes through this week with the Labor Relations Board, you guys had your wages stripped, so you guys were locked out. You weren't able to do some extracurricular activities, and then now there's a bit of a wage rollback, and that's been deemed okay by the Labor Board. On a personal level, how does that feel?
Well, I mean, it's a strange and chaotic thing that's happened to us. Only in British Columbia could you have, be on strike, be locked out, be at work, be forced by the employer to do voluntary activities that you're doing out of your own goodwill, and to be on the picket line all at the same time. I mean, it just does feel ridiculous. The amount of chaos and confusion that Christy Clark and Peter Fassbender have introduced into the system with this rollback, this 10% lockout, I mean, it boggles the mind. It just makes no sense. The goodwill that is ebbing out of our system daily is palpable.
Are you able to give the education that you want to? Are you able to teach these children as much as you feel that they deserve to be taught?
I mean, we do our best. We're professionals. We're very well trained in British Columbia. We do our best. But certainly I'm not able to do the job that I used to be able to do, considering the amount of students that I have now versus the amount that I had a number of years ago.
Of those 3 big pieces I gave you, bargains, I feel like
You might find we're taking on.
Yeah. Outside, I'm on the picket line right now. I'm here with Anthony. Anthony, why don't you introduce yourself and let us know where we are?
We're at Sir Winston Churchill Secondary in Vancouver. I'm Anthony LaRock, teacher here at high school.
Obviously, we got the results back from the Labor Board this week. You guys had your pay docked. There was a lockout with the job action that it was decided that you're going to have some pay deducted. And that went to the Labor Board, and the results came out that was okay. On a personal level, how does it feel to have the government just strip away salary like that?
Yeah, that's very frustrating for us. We think we do a great job with students. Most teachers are here normally before the job action came down, before the lockout from the government was introduced. Teachers are often here an hour or more before school, after school, to help students at lunch, and now we've been denied the ability to do those things. And on top of that, they take away 10% of your pay. That's just very frustrating as a teacher. You really don't feel valued.
Well guys, that wraps up our breakdown for this week, where we took a look at the debacle of a negotiation between the teachers of this province, the BCTF led by Jim Eicher, and the provincial government, the Ministry of Education led by Peter Fassbender. It's been a tumultuous couple weeks, and if they can't get a deal done, things are going to get much, much worse, as a strike is expected to begin on the 16th if the vote goes through today and tomorrow. Stick around, the VancouverProject.net will keep you covered. We'll keep you up to date on what's going on. Don't forget to read the article below this video, which has even more information about what's been going on between these two negotiating parties. Until next time, cheers.